Guten Tag, my dear German friends. Have you ever wondered why bread is a famous character in German cartoons? Why bread? I have a guess, but I will tell you later. And this video will help us to find out why. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and let's go to the action.
It didn't seem like it was for adults, but it didn't seem like it was for kids either.
I'm thinking like, what am I watching and what was in my beer? I have no idea what I'm looking at.
We need to talk about Germany's most famous TV personality, Bernd das Brot.
Listen, my first impression from Bread das Brot was that, oh my god, what am I watching, and who were those people who created this?
And welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Feli. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but I've been living here in Cincinnati, Ohio, on and off since 2016. In the last year, I've taken 2 groups of Americans on a trip to Germany, and both times I had people come up to me in the morning and ask about this weird German TV program.
A group of us went out one night to dinner, came back to the hotel after, turned on the TV, and there's this thing just kind of floating around the television. He's wearing like an astronaut's outfit, floating in outer space, getting hit by the occasional asteroid or whatever, saying missed or shucks or whatnot. Seems like he's in pretty bad mood. After watching this easily for like 15 minutes, I'm thinking like, what am I watching and what was in my beer? I have no idea what I'm looking at.
I think this is not for adults. I think this is more for kids. I had a reaction on Bernd das Brot. Some of the people in comment sections told me that this was for kids, and for kids it makes sense. It makes sense.
My wife and I were thinking, okay, let's go ahead and turn on the TV, and it'll be fun to just kind of check out a little bit of local, German TV and see what's going on. We start flipping through and immediately come across this puppet, this monstrous kind of ugly puppet.
Ugly. I wouldn't call him ugly.
It takes us just a second, but we realize, well, he's an astronaut, right? But it did say Astrobrot on the uniform, so we kind of, all right, that's what we suspected. It is indeed a loaf of bread, but he's got the bags under the eyes and this kind of depressing, deep voice. Hello. And he's just mostly floating in space. We just became fascinated and confused, and we were, what is this? What's going on? And kind of most importantly to us was, who is this for? Because it didn't seem like it was for adults, but it didn't seem like it was for kids either.
In this topic,
that was my first thought when I saw it also. But I think it's more for kids, because kids don't make sense at all. They just watch and they don't care. There's no sense happening in kids' head.
Even made it to social media recently when this creator called Chris, who's an American living in Germany, asked for explanations.
Can the people of Germany explain to me what this is? What is this block of bread that looks like it no longer wants to exist on this planet?
Well, sounds like
nice
Bernd
description.
might benefit from therapy. What is this weird bread that floats across German TV screens at night? And why does everyone in Germany, whether you're a kid or an adult, know about him? To answer this, we have to go all the way back to the year 2000, when the German kids TV channel Ki.Ka, well, actually at the time it was called Kinderkanal, came up with the idea for a new TV character, and it was a loaf of bread with a face on it.
Why?
And his name was Bernd das Brot. Bernd the bread. Together with Chili das Schaf, an adrenaline junkie sheep, and Riegel der Busch, a mad scientist bush who gets embarrassed easily, he starred in a show called Tolle Sachen, Great Things, with the subheading Die einzige Werbesendung im Ki.Ka, the only commercial show on Ki.Ka. For context, Ki.Ka is part of the public broadcasting system in Germany, which means that it doesn't show any commercials or do any type of product placements, except for this one. But of course...
Okay. What was other channels that you loved to watch when you were kids, guys? I watched Nickelodeon, Cartoon, Fox Kids, and let me remember, I don't remember. Cartoon Network, Fox Kids, Nickelodeon was the biggest for me, for sure, when I was a kid.
they didn't actually advertise products on the show. They just took the setting of a teleshopping show to present all of Briegel's crazy inventions. Chili was supposed to be the host of the show, but she usually showed up late and got distracted with all of her crazy stunts, while Bernd was the product tester who was supposed to demonstrate all of the products. Well, technically, they drew a random name every episode, but it just so happened that it said Bernd every single time.
Unser heutiger Testkandidat heißt Bernd das Brot.
Now, what makes Bernd so unique is that he's very open about how much he hates being a part of the show.
I bet, I have a feeling that inside that thing where she was taking out the names, only name was Brett das Brot.
Schön
Brett.
habt ihr's hier. Natürlich nicht. Ich will nach Hause. Ich bin
What a
dagegen.
voice.
Und ich dachte schon, schlimmer kann es nicht mehr werden. Falsch gedacht. Boxen deprimiert mich. Ui, ich bin wirklich ein Glückspilz, was? Was auch immer es ist, macht es ohne mich.
Boxing makes me depressed, man. This is such a hilarious statement.
Da gefällt mir mal was. Und dann wird es von einem UFO weggebeamt. Mir gefällt nie wieder was.
And of course, his most famous tagline is
Mist.
which translates to something like crap or shoot. And when Briegel and Chili end the show with
Also dann, liebe Zuschauer, bis zum nächsten Mal.
he responds with
Hoffentlich nicht.
I hope not. He also regularly runs into issues because his hands are directly attached to his body.
Not comfortable
his loaf.
at all.
So he always says things like,
Außerdem habe ich viel zu kurze Arme. Meine Arme sind zu kurz, meine Arme.
Well, he can always box like that. Or spin around, man. It's not the excuse that your arms are short. I can tell you that because I'm a martial artist also, and I have pretty short arms.
Sind zu kurz, meine Arme sind zu kurz. Ich habe zu kurze Arme. Habt ihr es jetzt verstanden?
also had a show called Chili TV, which was kind of like a reality TV show that showed Chili, Briegel, and Bernd in their personal lives. The show also included a lot of parody episodes of Star Trek or Harry Potter, Western movies, or classic fairy tales.
That's funny.
Then
That's
there was
funny.
a sketch comedy show called Bravo Bernd, a whole movie series with parodies called Bernd Events, one show that was simply called Bernd das Brot, where Briegel, Chili, and Bernd moved into a house together. There was Bernd and Friends, featuring different German celebrities. A show called Bernd Channel. About
What can bread have as a friend? Probably not mustard, but the thing that you put on the top, right? And a knife, and maybe some sausage, or something else that you put on the bread. You know, cheese, something like that.
him running his own YouTube channel. And then, of course, the most famous one, the nighttime loops. Now for this, it's important to know that the regular programming of Ki.Ka only runs from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Up until 2003, it actually ended as early as 7 p.m. So at night, depending on whether you received the channel through satellite, cable, or digitally, you'd either just see a text screen like this until 6 a.m. or on cable, I remember when I was a kid, it would always switch to the French-German culture channel Arte. But at some point, they started showing these loops of Bernd das Brot all night, and they actually started to produce them specifically for this purpose. So over the years,
Oh my
there was
gosh.
one called Bernd in Hell. Hell means bright in German, but I would assume that this was also a wordplay with the English word hell, because in this one, he's stuck in this all-white studio, and every time he tries to leave, he just finds himself coming back in on the other side of
It is Matrix. It's taken from Matrix. Do you remember in the second part where Neo was stuck in an underground where he was running on one end and he was coming out from another end? They need to add a Neo to this episode, that's for sure.
the frame. Then there was one called Ki.Ka Lounge, one called Casting Shows, one with a call-in theme, one with a social media theme, one that was just called Nerds, one about history.
Yeah, Nerds was so funny. I watched it. I will leave the video below where I react to the video, guys, with Nerds.
One where he sings his own song. We'll talk more about that in a second. And the newest one is Astrobrot from 2020, where he goes through astronaut training and for once actually kind of likes the idea because
Das ist doch vielleicht gar nicht so schlecht. Im All bin ich tatsächlich ganz weit weg und da oben ist es angeblich ganz schön
Then he just floats through space, has all kinds of interesting encounters, and eventually ends up on the ISS before he lands back in the studio.
Hat es dir im All gefallen?
Es war toll. Bis auf die Anreise, den Aufenthalt, die Abreise und die ganze Zeit dazwischen. Die war die Hölle.
Of course, throughout all of these shows, the general theme continues. Bernd hates everything the channel makes him do. Almost everything he says is full of sarcasm and cynicism, and all in all, he's pretty much the epitome of a grump. Maybe that's why he's so popular among Germans and has long outgrown the role of being just a TV character for children, and has become kind of a cultural treasure in
He's really grumpy. He's super grumpy.
Germany. We would say he's reached Kultstatus, cult status. Like, he's an icon. And I mean, he's a depressed loaf of bread. That's literally the perfect representation of German culture.
How can even bread can be depressed? Bread. Come on, man. Bread cannot be depressed. It's bread. It's always in good mood. Maybe only when it's old.
Because we're obviously known for our bread in Germany, and you can't deny that we're also pretty good at complaining and being pessimistic and grumpy. Plus, Bernd is a very stereotypical German name. So to answer Devin's question from earlier about who the target audience is here, Bernd das Brot was without a doubt created for kids on a kids TV channel, but I would argue that the reason he became so famous and is so successful is mainly because of his appeal to adults with all of his snarky comments. Kind of similar to the show SpongeBob SquarePants. And hey, he actually has a lot in common with Squidward. Alright, let's get back to Chris's video and see how the internet responded.
Can the people of Germany explain to me what this is? Because if you don't live in Germany, you are not going to understand what this is. And I clearly don't get it because I'm an American. What is this block of bread that looks like it no longer wants to exist on this planet? Like, I managed to go down a rabbit hole, and apparently German people at one point in time
Das Brot.
lived for...
This is from the movie Das Boot, yeah, and then they made it Das Brot. Oh my god, this is very nice, very nice.
This thing with pimples on his body. Like, it went as far as people were making memes. Here's an example where America has SpongeBob and Japan has Dragon Ball Z, and Germany said the best I can do is a depressed bread. There was even one point in time where the bread ended up in space, and I may not be understanding German humor, but like, so at one point in time, people were living for this depressed piece of bread. Like, it looks like it hasn't got sleep ever in its life. The more I look at the memes, the funnier it gets. But literally, what is that?
Some of these comments are actually hilarious.
They're hilarious.
Someone saying, a depressed bread, an analogy to the German soul. Bernd das Brot was on television at night on the children's channel. So if you sleep while watching kids TV, you wake up to a depressive bread that hates the world. It's wonderful. I love this.
Yes.
Bernd has never gotten a night's sleep. He's being tortured nightly on Ki.Ka. That's actually true. I never thought about that. He's German UNESCO Weltkulturerbe, like World Heritage. It's a depressed loaf of bread that yells at us to go to bed. That is something that he does too sometimes.
Schaltet ab, schaltet ab, schaltet ab,
Man, I love the guy.
Bernd das Brot is a national treasure.
Listen, from the start, I didn't understand what the Bernd das Brot, what was the thing about him. Now, watching this video, I really understood that because he's grumpy, because he's depressed, and he's like personality. This is the thing why people love him so much, and I start to love him also.
That's kind of what I said too. Bro, I was in a German hotel and left the TV on when I went to sleep and woke up at 2 in the morning to see this German treasure grace my screen wearing a spacesuit. That sounds exactly like what Greg and Devin experienced. In 2004, Bernd even won the Adolf Grimme Prize, which is kind of like the German Emmy, with the explanation that he represents, quote, das Recht auf schlechte Laune, the right to being in a bad mood, and that he acts as a counterpart to, quote, dem gute Laune Terror, der unaufhörlich aus dem Fernseher dröhnt und quillt, which translates to something like the reign of good mood that endlessly drones out of the television. The news outlet Deutsche Welle, DW, commented that most likely the jury realized just how subversive Bernd das Brot's attitude is when many human beings these days are willing to do almost anything to achieve fame and fortune on TV. I also love how the German Wikipedia article notes that Tommy Krabweis, the creator of Bernd das Brot, accepted the award on Bernd's behalf because Bernd wasn't interested. As I mentioned earlier, Bernd also became a musician at some point, and his song Tanz das Brot, Dance the Bread, even comes with its own dance. And
this went too far, man. This thing with the bread, it went just too far.
Personally believe that if this was published today, this would totally become a viral TikTok dance.
Man, why? Okay, I understand why. Because people wanna watch about the bread, and that's it, and that's why they watch about this Bernd das Brot. Man, I still cannot pronounce his name properly. What's wrong with me? The song sucks.
Bernd has so much power in Germany that in 2009, a 2-meter-tall statue of him was kidnapped by a group of activists that had been occupying an abandoned factory in Erfurt, the same city where the TV channel Ki.Ka has its headquarters. The factory used to belong to the company Topf und Söhne, which during World War II manufactured ovens and gas chamber ventilation systems for Auschwitz in that very building.
Wow.
So due to its historical and educational value, the activists wanted to prevent the building from being demolished or repurposed and use Bernd das Brot to gain more attention. Well, allegedly, because they never actually admitted to being responsible for the kidnapping. But no need to worry, the statue was found a few weeks later and it is now back up in front of Erfurt's City Hall. So Bernd truly has been through a lot over the years. By the way, in case you were wondering why he's so depressed, in an early episode of Tolle Sachen, he actually hinted at the fact that a broken heart might be the root of it all.
Broken heart? Bread even has a heart? Are you kidding me? What kind of heart? Bread has organs? Come on.
Ich mich in ein wunderschönes
Slim Baguette.
Baguette verliebt. Sie war so unglaublich charmant und witzig. Aber leider war es vergeblich. Sie hatte nur Augen für dieses dahergelaufene Meerkornbrot mit seinen 10 Getreidesorten. Es war
Man, this is very good. This is very good.
deprimierend.
In 2006, the American author Jeremy Wasser wrote in the German news outlet Spiegel Online, "Oh, I was starting to get it. Bernd epitomized the fundamental pessimism felt by many, if not most, Germans about, well, almost everything. It's a pessimism my German friends acknowledge and to some extent revel in. I won't say enjoy, though I'm not too sure about this. As an American, my relentless optimism about everything disturbs and distresses my circle of German friends, although they're usually too polite to say so."
Listen, if this is true that it shows their German pessimism, then Latvians will like this cartoon because Latvians are really, really, really big pessimists. But not
Germans
me.
would take to a character like Bernd and be willing to engage in this form of self-analysis and self-mockery should, in my view, be commended. That the people of the land of Goethe and Schiller would choose as their guide in this spiritual exploration a clinically depressed loaf of bread is perhaps just another improbable element of the German zeitgeist. And I think that was true then and still is today, almost 20 years later. Here's to the ultimate German hero, Bernd das Brot.
Mist.
So what can I say, guys? I like Bernd das Brot even more now. I think Latvians will enjoy watching these cartoons because, as I said before, we are big pessimists. And, you know, I would love to... No, I won't. I won't watch it. But still, it's funny. I love the memes. I love that it symbolizes part of your culture, you know, like not culture, but part of your thinking. Also culture, because it's a bread, you know, you have a lot of breads. And also it symbolizes the way Germans look at things, you know, not all of them, but many, let's say. This is what I like about Brenda's broth. Man, I did it finally. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, support the channel, donate, memberships, guys, always there for you. Auf Wiedersehen, bye.